On a sunny but brisk mid-July New England morning, a group of veterans and their families embarked on a whale-watching excursion out of Gloucester, Massachusetts, sponsored by the Massachusetts Veterans of Foreign Wars. The departure point was Gloucester's historic Inner Harbor. Some may recall that scenes from the popular movie The Perfect Storm were filmed here. The modern-day harbor is a combination of upscale waterfront restaurants, seafood processing plants, pleasure boating marinas, and most of all, working-class fishing operations going back hundreds of years.
The red building on your left at about 11 o'clock is the Gloucester Sea Jacket and Marine Paints Factory. We're going to be picking up speed shortly, so make sure you hang on to any hats or loose items like jackets and enjoy your ride out to see the whales.
The boat crew knows just where the best whale-watching areas are and head quickly out to rendezvous with the marine giants. The youngsters on board get a quick lesson in whale identification. And it wasn't long before the giants of the sea started showing themselves. Wow, what a sight!
My attention, looking for just to come up right next to him here. Or both of them.
And I'm here with Dick Kelly, who was one of the organizers of the trip. Dick, tell us a little bit about the whale-watching trip.
Well, this is something that we've been trying to do for a year or two, along with a fishing trip or two. We thought this would be more interesting to veterans' families, their kids, and I think we've seen, 6 or 8 whales now. Obviously we just saw another one.
Just jumped out of the water behind us, huh?
But this thing was coordinated by with Tim Smith, past state commander with the Veterans of Foreign Wars, VFW, and it wouldn't be possible without the support, the financial support, and the sponsorship of the Kelly Automotive Group, which we are very, very grateful for, and would like to thank them for that, which makes it all possible.
Yeah, and so far it's been pretty eventful. We've had a lot of whales popping up and breaching all around us here as the boat maneuvers in the waters, and it's a nice day. A little bit windy, but sunshine. It's not too humid.
I think it's a fabulous day for this sort of thing. I mean,
Great.
it's nice and flat.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Dick Kelly, thank you for chatting with us, and we'll get back to some serious whale watching now, huh?
Sounds like a good idea. Thank you for coming, Walter. Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
Our pleasure. And I'm here with Tim Smith, a good friend who is the past commander of the VFW of Massachusetts.
Yep. Well, thank you for coming, Walt, here today. We certainly want to thank also Kelly Auto Group that arranged for this trip today, as well as Massachusetts VFW. And we want to welcome our friends from Fort Beverly, Lisa and Jerry Paracella, and the good military families with that organization.
Yeah. I think this is kind of a change from the last couple of years, Tim, where mostly it was guys fishing, and they didn't have a chance to take their families along. But for a whale watching excursion, they have a chance to take their families and kids. So what about that?
Yeah, well, I'm glad that we were able to divert it a little bit differently this year. We did also include our friends from the New England Shelter for Homeless Veterans that did bring a group along from Boston, and it's great that we could still contribute to those efforts as well as to Fort Beverly.
Yeah. Now, in past years, you've caught a lot of fish and brought home a big catch to fry in the frying pan at home. This year, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, you take it with the good and the bad, but certainly if I caught one of these bigger fish, we'd need a bigger house and a bigger stove.
But we've been pretty fortunate. The whales have been breaching around us left and right, and there are a couple of other. There's one right there. Yeah.
To the side there.
Yeah, and the boats have been. There's two other boats from two other whale watching boats that have been maneuvering around these whales with us, and they've been putting on a pretty good show, huh?
Well, they said this year was going to be good for the whale watch season, and that's why we're fortunate to be able to pull off this trip. And hopefully before the year's out, we'll be able to contribute some other different activities as well.
Well, Tim Smith, thank you for joining us and chatting.
And always a pleasure to have you with us, Walt. Yep.
And the whales continued to put on quite a show. And I'm here with Lisa Paracella from Fort Beverly. And Fort Beverly this year, Lisa, has accompanied the Veterans excursion. Tell us a little bit about Fort Beverly, Lisa.
So Fort Beverly, we started a few years ago to identify the military-connected kids within the elementary schools throughout Beverly. And the good news is we just received our nonprofit status 2 weeks ago. So we're getting our name out there and getting identified, and people are starting to find out who we are and what we do for the community.
Mm-hmm. And you certainly are aware of the kind of service that Fort Beverly provides to veterans or to active service people's families, because your husband, our state rep Jerry Paracella, shortly after he was elected about 3 years ago, was sent off to Iraq. And so you certainly can and understand the advantage of some of the services that Fort Beverly does.
Yes, and that's what started Fort Beverly was when Jerry got deployed. Jerry and I were the fourth or fifth family at North Beverly Elementary School within a 2-month period that had a family member getting deployed. So at North Beverly School was the first location that was started in Beverly. At one point we had 22 kids at North Beverly Elementary School with a parent or a caregiver being deployed overseas.
Mm-hmm. And for individuals who want to help out with Fort Beverly or contribute or do some volunteer work, what advice would you give, or can you give them some information about that?
Yes, so now that we're completely nonprofit, hopefully I'll be doing some kind of identification kickoff or a fundraiser to really get us up and going. And through homecoming, I'm going to try to be visible with the table. All the elementary schools in the superintendent's office they have our brochure, but we can also be found on Facebook, of course, at Fort Beverly MA on Facebook. And our email right now is me directly is lisaparacella@gmail.com.
Okay. And we're going to put that up here on the screen so the folks can see those email addresses and websites. Well, Lisa, thank you very much for chatting with us, and I won't hold you up too long because I know you want to get back to the whale watching.
It's very exciting. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of it today.
And right on cue, the show went on again. Everyone stayed close to the rail to be sure they didn't miss anything.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, 10 o'clock. So we want chin breathing.
Who was able to identify a whale just on the feed extraction that she was doing.
My whale's mine's gonna have an association with your whale. Look it, they're friends. Mwah! You're so big. Catch the fish for me. Will you catch fish for me? Okay.
Down in Florida and the Caribbean, they're really becoming a huge problem because they're not from the area. They're actually from Asia.
I'm here with, what's your name?
My name is Juniper.
Deanna?
No, Juniper.
Juniper, what a pretty name. Juniper, wow. And are you enjoying yourself on the whale watching trip?
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. And what do you have in your hand here? And you have a whale in your hand here, right?
Yeah, and the whale's eating the squid.
Ooh, and he's having lunch, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah?
Yeah. Did you see some of the whales in the water a little while ago, Juniper?
Yeah?
You did?
Uh-huh.
What was your most fun part? What was the most exciting thing?
When I saw the head.
When you saw the head of the whale?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And did you see the tails in the water, the big tails, the whale tails?
Yeah?
Uh-huh. And who are you here with, your mom?
Yeah, my mom, my dad, my sister, and my cousin. And my aunt.
Your mom and dad and sister and cousin and your aunt. Wow, that's a big group of people, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you having fun?
Yeah.
Well, Juniper, thank you for talking with us.
You're welcome.
And so you can see green under the water there again. So that whale blew a bubble with the blowhole.
And I'm here with one of our expert whale watchers and commentators, and your name is?
Laura?
And Laura, you are part of the crew of the whale watching vessel. And how long have you been doing this?
This is my third season.
Third season. And so you have become quite a whale expert, have you not?
I have. So actually everything I learned was mostly on this boat and by self-study. So I was an early childhood ed major, and then I came out to work here, and this is where I learned all my information.
Well, we've been listening to you give your descriptions of the whales and getting all of the visitors on board interested in pointing out the whales. You're very quick. Well, something breaching at 2 o'clock and nosing at 4 o'clock and all of that. So tell us, what kind of whales are most likely to be seen on one of these whale watching trips?
Well, most often we see humpback whales, we see fin whales, minke whales. Every once in a while I get really lucky and we see dolphins. We see Atlantic white-sided dolphins, and once in a while we get to see harbor porpoise.
Mm-hmm. Now, are any of these animals that you've just described endangered animals?
Mm-hmm. The fin whales, the humpback whales are endangered.
Mm-hmm.
So their numbers are on the increase, but we're definitely still trying to take measures to protect them.
Now, I noticed that you had some very detailed knowledge of some of these whales. You mentioned that some of these whales, you have actually seen them season after season for 15 and 20 years, and they're very recognizable. Tell us how you recognize these whales.
With the humpbacks, we look at the underside of their fluke, and there's a black and white pattern. They can range from being all white to all black, and really have unique, kind of like a fingerprint. And they remain pretty much the same from birth all the way through the rest of their lives. And so they're given a name based on marks on their fluke. So for example, today we saw a whale named Exclaim. Exclaim has a mark on the fluke that looks like an exclamation point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And now what sort of efforts are being made both at a local level and statewide, national level to preserve these kinds of animals and protect them?
We really promote conservation through keeping control of our seafood choices. So there are more sustainable and less sustainable seafood options out there. So we really try to promote that. But one of the biggest things that people can do on an individual level is to really control the toxins, pollutants, and trash that ends up in the ocean. We see a lot of trash out here, plastic bags, balloons, those kinds of things. And as small as they are, they pose one of the biggest threats to these animals, especially when they're feeding. Their esophagus isn't big enough to even be able to swallow a balloon, so they actually end up choking on those kinds of items. So that's what we could do on a more individual level. And then there's also the Marine Mammal Protection Act, which has regulations put into place about protecting marine mammals all around the country.
Well, very interesting, very interesting. Thank you for explaining some of the habitats and the comings and goings of these great marine creatures.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'm here with, I know you're Sophia Paracella, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And your friend, what is your name?
Jamison Moore.
And are you girls in the same class at school?
No, she goes to Danvers and I go to Beverly.
Oh, and how did you get to be friends?
By our moms.
Your moms are friends, huh?
Yeah.
And what are you doing during the summer? Hanging out, having a lot of fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of things are you doing?
We went on the whale watch and we made a cool slip and slide at Sophia's house.
Yeah. And so, when did you find out you were going on the whale watch?
I think she found out sooner than I did, but I figured it out yesterday.
You did, huh? And we saw quite a few whales, didn't we?
Yeah, we saw 3 whales, I think.
Yeah. And they jumped right up out of the water, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the most exciting thing about the whale? Did you see the tails when they were sticking up?
Yeah, I saw the tails and I like the chin reach too.
Yeah, that was really exciting, wasn't it? Now, and I know that we talked to you, Sophia, a number of years ago when your dad is Jerry Paracella, when he was over in Iraq, and we Skyped him from your classroom, didn't we?
Yeah, that was really fun.
That was a lot of fun, and all of the kids in the class got a chance to ask a question and ask your dad some questions, huh, about what he was doing and stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now your dad is back, right?
Yeah.
And you guys are doing all kind of exciting things during the summer, huh?
Yeah, it takes me to a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Anything specific planned for the rest of the summer?
Well, we came back from Cape Cod a couple of weeks ago.
Uh-huh. How was it down at Cape Cod?
It was really warm, and we went to a lot of beaches.
Yeah? Did you swim and sail and stuff like that?
We didn't get to go on any boats, but we did get to go kayaking.
Oh, you went kayaking, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see any seals or any fish out there?
No.
No, you didn't. But you had a lot of fun kayaking, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, well, ladies, thank you for talking with us, and you'll get a chance to see yourselves on television when we put this on BevCam, right?
Yep.
Excited about that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for chatting with us, ladies.
Great, look at these whales over here.
And I'm here with our state rep, Jerry Paracella. Jerry, how you doing?
Great, thanks. Great to be here.
We had a chance to talk with Sophia a little bit earlier, and we also had a chance to talk with your wife, Lisa. So tell us a little bit more about the whole Fort Beverly experience and how that's going and what you expect to do with that in the future.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think it was born out of sort of my personal experience when I deployed to Iraq in 2011. And for reservists, it's a little bit of a challenge because they don't have that sort of infrastructure of an active duty post where they can go and meet with other family members. The typical reservist family, a National Guard family, they're sort of out there on their own. So I think Lisa wanted to do something to try to bridge that gap, and that's how Fort Beverly was created and formed. And so now it's really taken off, and it's great that we have activities like this, Whale Watch, and other activities where military families can get together, talk to each other, and just have a good time.
And how big a group do you estimate it is that Fort Beverly services?
I mean, we've had events where we'll have 40, 50 people come. So it's growing. It's just sort of word of mouth, getting it out to people, let them know that it's out there, because there's no sort of central database of veterans, and so it's that the challenge is finding out who these veterans are in Beverly and in the North Shore, and then inviting them to come to events.
Yeah. And I know that your wife Lisa has been really tirelessly working to make this thing happen, and I know that the Fort Beverly just got a nonprofit designation. So what does that designation allow you to do?
I mean, I think it sends first of all, it sends a message to people that it's a nonprofit that's here to devoted to help people out, and also it allows organizations like the Rotary and the Kiwanis, they'll donate to nonprofits. So they want to see that nonprofit status that's been vetted through the IRS. So because of that, the Rotary has made a nice donation. Now the Kiwanis Club is interested. And so I think it helps, just sort of enhance the ability of the Fort Beverly to reach out to people and to raise funds.
Well, what a wonderful organization, and what a great tribute to our community that people can get together like this and think about people who are going through trying times in their lives, which, as we talked with Lisa, she went through, you and her went through when you're during your deployment. And most important now, did you see any whales?
We did. This was great. I saw a couple of whales out there. It's quite an experience seeing them in their natural environment.
Yeah, it really is. It's so funny when the guide yells out 1 o'clock and everybody's on the other side of the boat and everybody runs to the other side of the boat.
It's great. The whole boat shifts. But what a treat to be able to see whales in the natural environment.
Yeah, it sure is. Well, Jerry, thanks for chatting with us. Good to have you back home and back in your duties as our state rep from Beverly.
Thanks, Walt. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm here with
Paul Uni.
And Paul, I understand that you're from the Veterans Shelter in Boston?
Yeah, that's correct.
And how did you hear about the whale watching trip that we're on today?
It comes out in one of the groups that we have at the shelter where they ask people to go on different things like the Museum of Fine Arts or the Isabel Gardner Museum, and this was one of the options that we had.
And I understand, I can see here you have a friend with you, your service dog, and what's your service dog's name?
Her name is Nikita.
Nikita, and how long have you had Nikita?
I've owned her for 8 years. She's been a service dog the last 3.
Last 3 years. And did Nikita have to go through some training and special classes in order to qualify as a service dog?
No, it was mainly done between me and my neurologist, that she was able to find out when I was going to have a seizure and warn me beforehand. So that's how we did it.
And so Nikita actually anticipates your seizures and warns you.
Yes, she does.
And how does she do that? Does she tug on your sleeve or bark? Or
if I'm sitting down, she'll try and sit on my lap. If I'm standing up, she'll sit on my feet so I can't walk anywhere. And I know at that point I've got to go sit down somewhere.
Wow. And do you come out of your seizures by yourself, or do you need to?
Yeah, they're absent seizures, so it's basically like daydreaming. And then you come back, but you're not aware that you are.
Wow.
Everyone else, for instance, you would know I had a seizure before I knew I did.
Yeah. Well, and so this is amazing. So she kind of keeps you out of trouble while you're in that seizure state.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, she is there to protect me, so nobody can, lift my wallet, for instance. That she'd be there to go for help if it was, taking too long.
Right. And now, how long have you been at the shelter in Boston?
About 1 year.
Okay. And what sort of services? What do they do for you there, Paul?
Let's see. They help me with housing. I just signed that yesterday for finding housing outside the shelter. Medical is there if you need any of that. And basically coordinating your life for you so there's some things you don't have to worry about.
Well, Paul, thank you very much for chatting with us, and we enjoyed having you here on the whale watch trip. Did you get to see a lot of whales?
Yeah, I've never seen them. I mean, I'm 54 years old, and I've never seen a whale before today.
Yeah, they're pretty exciting to watch when they come, right? Everybody, the youngsters get excited, and the old people get excited, everybody in between, huh?
Yeah, really, it was just a phenomenal experience. I've never had an experience like this in a long time.
Well, Paul, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself on the whale watch trip.
Thank you very much.
And as they say, all good things must come to an end. And as we return to the harbor, we exchange greetings with a local sailboat. And I'm here with
Mimi Yasker.
And Mimi, you're with the veterans, homeless veterans shelter in Boston. Tell us a little bit about that, Mimi.
Sure. So I work at the New England Center for Homeless Veterans as the senior services clinician and the director of the day program. And we are a transitional housing program. So any veteran is able to come to the shelter and receive services to facilitate permanent housing. And we provide housing services, vocational services, and any kind of medical services as well. So really, we have a wonderful team, and we try our best to really support veterans in every way.
And how long has the shelter been in existence now?
Well, it was originally founded as the Vietnam Veterans Workshop about 30 some odd, or I believe it's about 30 some odd years ago, and it has evolved since then into a shelter for all veterans.
And how many do you currently have at the shelter right now?
There are approximately 300 beds, which include 16 to 20 beds for female veterans, and the rest are for male veterans.
So this is transitional, so this is not a place that they will end up staying for a long time. So is there a limit as to how long a veteran can stay there before does he have to get a job or permanent housing? How does that work?
Sure. So the ideal maximum amount of time for a veteran stay at the shelter is 2 years. So we really follow the housing first model and the rapid rehousing model. So we really want to get veterans into permanent housing as soon as possible.
And how did you find out about the whale watching trip today?
So we're really grateful to Dick Kelly, who was very generous in getting us tickets, and we worked through the development office and the operations office to help us bring some folks here from the stay-in program, which is a program that works with the seniors and with veterans who have any kind of disability, and we provide programming and structure, and one of the really nice things that we do is we're able to come on trips thanks to the generosity of organizations like Cape Ann Whale Watching.
Well, what a great organization, and congratulations on all the great work you do for our veterans. And Mimi, thank you for chatting with us.
Thank you very much.
After an exciting, fun-filled day on the ocean, the veterans and their friends, and especially the kids, will have many stories to tell about a very memorable day of whale watching.